OverDose Vapes. Keep your coils tight. Keep your wicks wet. If you're looking for new flavors, all about the clouds, bro. Filling up a clear road, we're dripping on the sub. On reviews for the juice, while Trevor Josh post viewed on YouTube and prepare for overdose.
Hello, welcome back to OverDose Vapes.
Hello!
Hello, I'm Travis, this is Josh. We are OverDose Vapes. We are looking at a little... Exactly.
That's us combining
That's
forces.
how we combine
today.
forces.
Yep.
So today we're looking at not an e-juice, we are looking at a piece of hardware from Innokin. From our really good friends at Innokin. This is a kit. This is the MVP4 kit.
Along with a giveaway of one of those, the kit, and wait till the end of the video, we'll tell you exactly how you enter that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So the kit includes the MVP4. This is their latest edition of the 4. It is a 100-watt device.
Ooh, Innokin, you getting there, bruh.
They're finally starting to understand. They do have one other 100-watt device, but there was some issues with that.
Yeah.
We'll discuss the issues, the lack of issues for this one in this video. I've been using it. It also includes this wonderful Scion tank.
Ooh, they did it, bro.
It is a high-watt tank to match their high-watt device. The stock 0.5 coils go from 70 to 100 watts.
110, actually. But
yeah, 110. You're right. You're right. So,
and then if you buy the tank separately, and you can also get aftermarket 0.28 coils, which go from 100 to 200 watts.
That's fucking amazing.
What?
That's the last thing I expected from fucking Innokin. And we'll talk about it up close. I'll show you guys the tank and the mod itself.
Ooh,
we're gonna do
tank
this.
is no joke.
It's no joke, and it's probably in some ways even more important than the MVP4 in the sense that this is Innokin really recognizing that the market has changed and that people want tanks that they can push to the limit.
And what I love is Innokin stands for safety. It stands for shit just being right. And now they got this tank that goes with the MVP. Beautiful. This tank is ridiculous.
This tank is basically an upgraded version of the Axiom, which we fucking loved.
Yeah, it was great. It just, you couldn't put the power to it.
It was a 30-watt tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it fucking chucked for 30.
Oh, that's nice.
But this is like, that's Big Brother. You have to, you don't even get the full fucking enjoyment of it until you hit that 60, 70 watts.
Yeah.
And then it starts to come alive. And the flavor on this, okay, so here's some things. We'll talk about the tank for a second. Some things that with these other high wattage, low ohm tanks. Some of the problems that I have with them is that, yeah, you can chuck mad clouds, but you lose a tremendous amount of flavor.
There's a lot of times there's just too much airflow because it expects you maybe to go to 200 watts, which I don't need to do that. So the airflow is too much and the flavor really gets knocked down.
Yep.
This is a nice mix between all of them.
Yeah, it gives you ample airflow. It gives you a ton of fucking headroom for your wattage needs, but it also produces flavor on par with something like the Axiom, which I thought was one of the better flavor sub-ohm tanks on the market.
Yeah, the tank is tits, bro.
It's super tits on our Ritz.
I mean, it's just a great vape.
Yep.
Nice full clouds. You know, you're pushing, I'm at 90 right now, and just wicking like a dream.
Yep. I haven't even had anything close to a dry hit.
Yeah.
I've only rocked this at 100 watts. I took it as far as I could with the MVP4, and I've left it there, and I've had no fucking problems.
And no need for more wattage, really. With this
no,
coil, it's
no.
fucking perfect.
The extra 10 watts would do nothing for me.
Yeah.
So as far as so that's that's part of what makes this special is the tank. But let's talk about the MVP4 as well. The MVP4 is the last, or the latest device in a long line of devices. Going back to all the way to the original MVP, which was my very first regulated device that did 11 watts. And I remember dripping.
We had little single coils dripping on that shit.
I remember dripping with that and being happy.
We had the shit, bro.
And so it's nice to know that Innokin is attempting to stay relevant, right? Because it would be very easy for them to continue to make their low wattage devices to focus mainly on
smaller tanks,
in the newer vapors.
Yep.
This is kind of like saying, hey, thank you for sticking with us through the years. Let's give you something that you can actually use.
Yep.
And the power delivery for this MVP is
now.
fucking immediate.
It's like almost before you hit the button.
It is more responsive than my mech mods.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy because mech mods is immediate power. As soon as you hit the button, it's power, right?
Yeah.
Listen
to this.
It's immediate. It's fucking immediate.
It's now.
There's literally no delay, right? And I love that about it. The menu system is exactly the same as other menu systems from Innokin. It's simple. It only requires 3 buttons. You got a power button, or a fire button, and then 2 up and down buttons.
Easy peasy.
It does temperature control. It does wattage. It does all that shit that you would expect from a newer device.
Yep.
It's
4,500 milliamp hours.
Yeah.
So you should be able to go all day.
Internal battery, which that's when Innokin shines.
Yeah.
It had to be an internal battery. I was hoping, above everything else that it was internal battery, and it is.
It is.
And so yeah, I think that it's amazing. I think that it does everything right in a lot of ways.
Plus, it's a power bank.
Plus, it's a fucking power bank.
You can charge your little celly phone right here.
Yep, absolutely. Why don't we go up close real quick, check out the mod in the tank, and then we will come back and give you our final verdict.
And our scores, bruh.
We'll be right back. So let's see what we get when we open up the box here. So, in typical Innokin fashion, it has an outer sleeve here. And then you're going to have your box as embossed there, MVP4. Vaporizer and power bank, and that's important because like all other MVPs, this is more than just a mod. You can also use it as a portable power device to charge things like your cell phone or what have your iPod, different things like that. Okay, so when we open up the box, you're gonna be greeted with your MVP with the color that you have chosen. This one is silver. Go ahead and remove that, and there is the MVP4. It's beautiful. We will go up close a little bit further here so I can show you all the details in a second, but I just want to show you what else you get in the box. So you're going to pull this little tab here, and inside you're going to get the manual for the MVP4. This is highly, this is really, really important. It's highly important. You need to read all these things to understand all the functions of your MVP, because it's capable of quite a bit of things, including like the pre-boost, wattage settings for when you're using temperature control. All those things that you're going to need to know if you're going to use every function of the MVP. You're going to need to read this manual, and it's actually done really well. I read through it today. There's no, as far as what I could see, there's no English. There's no bad translation. It seems to have been written extremely competently. So easy to understand, easy to follow. I highly recommend that you read this if you buy this device. They also include a couple of nice little vinyl Innokin stickers, which is cool. They give you this. It's an iTaste. They're branded iTaste USB cables. Now this is going to be good for charging your MVP itself. Either from a wall wart or from your computer. But you can also use this cord to charge other devices, and I'll show you how you do that here in a second. Okay, so we got those. Now you also get this beautiful Scion tank. Currently I have this one, I have the coil out of it, but I will go up close, show you how to install a coil, show you the coils and all that stuff here in a second. But this is basically what it looks like. It's got a very large glass section here, and it's got a half chuff is what I like to call them, a semi chuff. Oh, just fell off. It's falling apart because I don't have the coil in it. The coil kind of holds it all together because it screws into this top piece here. Okay, so you get that. You get of course, a little vape band, an Innokin vape band to go around your tank. You get a bag of spare O-rings. And critically, you get an extra glass tank section along with an extra coil. Okay, so why don't we go close even further, and I will show you the ins and outs of the MVP, and then we will show you the ins and outs of the MVP4 up close and personal. As you can see, it's branded there, MVP. It's got a really nice, simple design to it, in my opinion. The edges are not sharp. they are beveled here, so that you're not going to have them digging into your hand when you're holding it. It's actually very comfortable to hold, even though it is basically a brick style device. They have designed it in a way that is going to be extremely comfortable to hold. The top and the bottom here, as you can see, are black hard plastic sections, but this middle piece feels like it's aluminum, I think. So as you can see, there's the 510. Very nice. Here's the fire button. It is clicky, if you can hear that, but it is made out of plastic as well. 3 clicks is going to turn it on. 3 clicks is going to turn it off. It's got the real typical Innokin menu system. Whenever you put a new device, let's go ahead and turn it off. Click it 3 times, turn it off. You click it 3 times, when you turn it on, it's going to give you the Innokin splash. Then it's going to give you your wattage and everything, right? What you have it set at. Right now it's showing the ohms as being, as having nothing on there. Once we attach a device, it's going to show something totally different. Let me pause for a second, and I'm going to show you what happens when you go ahead and screw it in there. It's going to pop up this menu asking you if it's the same device, if it's the same as last time, or if you need to change it to wattage mode, which we do. I'm going to change it to wattage. So now it's going to give us our ohm reading along with our wattage, and we can fire it. And it has a little counter to tell you how long you hit it for. So that's kind of what it looks like here with the Scion tank attached. I think it is a perfect kit here. The Scion mixed with the MVP4. On the front here is where you're going to actually charge your MVP. Right, you're going to use a micro USB charging cable. And on the back here is where you're going to do power output, and that has a full-size USB connection on there. Okay, so the cord that they include has one side of full-size USB, like to plug into your computer or whatever, and the other side micro to charge. So you can just reverse that and use the full-size part to plug in here, and then the micro USB to plug into your phone if you wish to charge your device. Okay, so here's the buttons up and down, and of course there are various functions, like holding the power and the down button, and power and the up button. There's various different functions, and those are all covered in the manual, which I highly recommend you read. But for now, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an overview, let you see what it looks like, and I've been using this quite a bit. Okay. Now I have to say that of all regulated devices that I've used, especially from Innokin, this thing has an instant power delivery that is pretty much unparalleled. Once the menu system's on, right, because you have to click it once to get the menu to come on, but once it's on, like, the power output is immediate. When I hit this button, it is giving me power to my device. Here's the coil that you're going to get with the Scion tank. It's got 3 large barrel coils. They're surrounded by cotton. This one is coming out at 0.5, but it is good up to 110 watts. Its actual preferred wattage is between 70 and 110. As you can see, it's got giant juice ports there where the wick is directly exposed, and that means that this wick right here is the wick that's wrapped around the coil. So basically, the coil has a direct access to juice flow. I've never had anything even close to a dry hit on this, and I definitely push it all the way up to that 100 watt mark every time I use it. Yeah. Not to say that it's not comfortable. It does give you a comfortable vape at about 70 to 80 watts as well, but I find that it really shines at 100 watts. Okay, so there is the coil. Now, and to install it, we're going to take the base of the Scion tank here. This is just the very bottom part that has the 510 connection on there. Now, you're not going to want to use this on any hybrid devices because it is not a proud 510. The 510 is recessed, okay? But this bottom section is where it has the airflow and where you're going to put your coil, okay? So we're going to just go ahead and screw our coil directly into this bottom section. Okay, so there's our coil installed into the bottom section of the tank. Now, we're going to take our top barrel section. This includes the glass section and the mouthpiece and this top barrel. We're just going to slide that over the top, and we're going to screw it in, and it will screw right in to the top. The top of the coil is going to screw in right into the top of that barrel, and there's your completed device. Now, in order to use this, it's super simple. When you first buy the device, buy this kit, it will come installed just like this. You're going to see it just like this. And so in order to use it, all you have to do is unscrew this mouthpiece very easily, and there's your juice ports. Okay, this is where you're going to fill up your juice. So you're going to fill this up with juice when you first get it. You know, the juice of your choice. Fill it up all the way to the top, and then you're going to screw on your mouthpiece back on there. Maybe give it a few primer puffs, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then you're going to be good to go. You're going to throw it right onto your device, and you're going to be vaping. Alright? This tank, for whatever reason, however they did it, okay, it's got the airflow coming from the bottom here. As you can see, I've had no leaking at all. There's absolutely been not a drop leak out of this in my experience, and I've been using this quite a bit. All right, totally drip or leak proof. I mean, as far as I can tell, it has a ton of airflow. Has big slots on either side here on the bottom. I've had no problem with the airflow situation. It gives you plenty of air, but it still gives you a nice warm vape at 100 watts. It's been very enjoyable, and for some reason, I guess maybe because of the design, how small it is, how close the coils are to the actual mouthpiece here, to the barrel. From the barrel to the mouthpiece is a very short distance, and I really think that must help to produce flavor, because this thing has flavor like you wouldn't believe. It's probably the best flavor from a sub-ohm tank that I've ever had personally. You know, if you've had something different that you think is better, leave it in the comment below. But this is, in my opinion, so far my favorite sub-ohm tank. It is a damn fine device. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I absolutely love it. Alright, we're back.
Back at ya.
So, as you can see, the MVP is a very simple device. It's just a little square. I mean, it's really in line with the traditional MVP design.
No doubt.
There are some changes, like the edges are beveled, so it's not as sharp.
No doubt. The chamfers are nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel awkward in the hand.
It definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
You can rock. See, as you can see during the break, I put a dripper on there, so you can rock a dripper on there, of course. The only problem is if you have even a semi-long 510,
yeah,
you're gonna have a gap.
A little gap.
A little gap, and that's gonna drive some people fucking crazy.
No doubt.
Me, I don't really give a fuck. As long as it hits, that's all that matters to me.
One thing to note: do not try to use this Scion on a fucking hybrid.
Nope. It is not. It is not hybrid ready. It is. No. It is recessive to a degree. Yeah.
So.
It's definitely not something you're gonna want to try to use on a hybrid, which is
something to know.
which is unusual, or which is not unusual, but which is unfortunate because it is such a good tank.
Beautiful tank.
But at 0.5, how many people are gonna have the patience to fucking?
Yeah. I'm gonna give the tank a 4.5. I'm not really that big into sub-ohm tanks. And this is why, because usually you couldn't fucking push enough power through them. This thing's a beautiful beast.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it even more. I'm going to give it a 4.7. I'm not a tank guy. If I use tanks, they are rebuildable tanks.
Yeah.
There's something about Innokin's sub-ohm tanks which really fit me. Like going back to the Axiom, it wasn't a high-powered device, but it was something that just caught my fancy because of the flavor, right? The flavor was so well done. This tank is now officially my favorite sub-ohm tank.
Easy.
You know, it doesn't have 12 fucking coils in it. It doesn't have fucking 300 watts of power pushing through it. But for me, when I'm going to use a tank, 100 watts is fucking plenty.
It's perfect.
It's so perfect, and in the flavor of it is unparalleled. So yeah, I'm going to say, what did I say, 4.7?
Yeah.
4.7 for the tank. As far as the mod is concerned, I do think that it's made some drastic improvements over previous versions, of course. Even MVP4, I think, was 30 watts, which is just not enough.
Right.
this going to 100 watts has really been a game changer for this device.
No doubt.
But do I also at the same time don't think it's as big a leap forward as the tank itself.
No.
So I'm gonna say 4.
I'm gonna give it a 4 also. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's comfortable. I do like the nice new slick plastic on either ends. I think it's a good looking device. It's a power bank. That's the plus. You catch yourself on the road and your phone's dragging. And the tank on it. Whew, it's a nice little kit.
It's a really good kit.
It's a really great kit.
In combination with the tank, with the fucking with the Scion tank, I think it is as if I was going to score them both together, it would be a 4.5 because I think it's a fucking damn near perfect beginner to intermediary to hobbyist fucking setup.
Yeah, I'm gonna be using it, bro. So
everybody could use it, right?
So, and it just hits so quick. I don't think I've ever had anything that hit this fast.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, just
now. Now.
Just dope. No pre-fire. You're not gonna waste any fucking, any of your battery life pre-fire and trying to get it hot. It's ready.
And it's not like it builds up to that 100 watts. You hit the button, it's getting you your 100 watts immediately.
It's there, bro.
They've really done some refinements on their chip. I think the chip is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It is very comfortable. Comes in different colors. There's a lot of things I love about it. The charge port is in the perfect place, so you can actually sit it and charge it.
In case you got a dripper on, you don't have to lay it down. I love that. Yeah, I love
that. But at the same time,
real quick, it does come in red, an aqua, a blue, a silver, and a black.
So you got a lot of options.
Yeah.
The only problem here is that here's my little niggle, okay? Because people are gonna say it. 100 watts is good, but they should have went 150.
Of course they'll say it.
But in some ways they should have, because it would make it more versatile. We're talking 150 watt device standards was 3 years ago.
Yeah. And that's why you get the .28 coils separately with the tank, because this can't power it.
Well, it's not going to power it to the fullest extent that it deserves.
Right.
And you know what? That in a lot of ways that doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the MVP4. I have a lot of history with MVP, so I love it. But I think that if I would have added another 50 watts, it really would have opened up the market a lot more.
That 5, maybe that 5.
Maybe the 5 will have it, yeah.
I rarely go over 100. A lot of times I'll get to 100, but I rarely have to go over. So it's going to be perfect for me. Yeah.
Here's another thing that's great about this, is that with some of these Innokin products, especially ones that take batteries that don't have the internal batteries, you can go to its maximum wattage, but then it won't last.
No.
Like you can get to 100 watts and then for 2 or 3 hits, and then it makes you drop down.
Yeah.
Because the battery will start sagging pretty intensely. This one I've used at 100 watts exclusively, all the way from freshly charged to dead. And I've never had it kick me back and say, hey, that you need to put the power down.
It's there.
It'll do 100 watts the whole way through.
Until it's dead.
Until it's dead, and I think that's fucking huge. So yeah, so I think that it was just a really well-made device. I think they really did a good job. Of course, it's not going to please everybody, but that's just the name of the game. People are, always finding things to find wrong with it. But in my opinion, this is probably one of the best starter kits available on the market today. For everyone from newbies to experienced vapors, and I think it's probably the best combination that Innokin has ever put out.
No doubt, and at a fair price. I think the kit is $70. I think if you want to get the tank by itself, it's $25, and then I think the mod by itself is $50 to $60.
And I think that is a wonderful fucking price.
Absolutely.
And I think that if you're going to choose one or the other, I would say if you already have a high wattage device,
100 watt device,
grab the tank.
It's a must-have.
Because the tank is definitely the must-have, and it's definitely the star of the show. So
yeah, good work, Innokin.
Absolutely,
I love it. I love the direction you're headed.
Absolutely,
no doubt. This is a big win.
It's cool to do things for beginners, but it's also cool to give us things, people who have been with you since the beginning, to kind of move along with us as well. So.
And I love the safety aspect. I mean, Innokin is about as safe as it gets. They have kill switches on everything. It gets warm, it's not going to fire, blah, 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 all the way down the line.
I'll tell you right now that if somebody comes to me now and says, I'm interested in starting vaping, I want clouds and flavor, because people do.
This is the good kit,
This is the kit I'm going to recommend.
And it'll last you a year or two. I mean,
it's built like a fucking tank.
You're not going to grow out of it. Yeah, exactly.
It's built like a tank.
Beautiful.
You can go from this tank to dripping. Everything about it works.
Living the dream, bruh.
I love it.
Check it.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, we already scored it. Never mind. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to Innokin for sending it out free of charge for this review. And thank you guys for sticking with us and for watching us. And please keep it close tight.
Keep those wicks wet, baby!
All right, here's an amendment to the video for the MVP4.
We fucked up.
We
Let's
fucked
be
up.
real.
We said we were going to tell you at the end how to enter the contest. We did not do that. So here's how to enter the contest. Why don't you tell them?
We'll splice this in to that video.
Absolutely.
You won't have to see a separate video.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we need you to comment under the video, and what we'd like to know is kind of your vape story, right? How long you been vaping? You know, what was the mod you used? I mean, any kind of vape story that you think is important, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a vape story. What juice got you there? Just kind of share some of that shit with us so we get to know you a little better. You have to be part of the Facebook group.
Yep.
And that's it.